Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mythic for Operators. Today we're going to be looking at reporting. You can always find reporting by clicking up in the little checker icon here in the top. And we have two options we can do. You can either generate your reports in HTML or JSON, whether or not you're trying to get a PDF in the end, or maybe you just want the data to be able to programmatically mess around with afterwards. One of the things that Mythic supports is having MITRE ATT&CK integrations. We'll cover that more in depth in a future episode, but for now, you have the option to include that sort of MITRE ATT&CK coverage as part of this report. So you can opt to either include it per task, overall, both, neither, your preference. You can also exclude certain users, hosts, or even just specific callback IDs from being included in your report. This happens all the time where you're going through and maybe you have a test callback that you're testing things against, or something needs to be excluded or is out of bounds, or for some reason you don't want to include something in this report. So if we go back, click the search icon and look at our callbacks, way back when we first started, we created a fake callback with an Apollo agent. So you can see down here, the host is unknown. We didn't really do anything with it. It doesn't need to be included as part of our report. So we're going to go back to our reporting. We're going to say we want HTML, give us all the MITRE ATT&CK information, and for excluded IDs, we're going to say callback 1. Don't include that as part of what we're doing. Click generate, give you some information about what's going on as it's generating this HTML report on the back end. And here we go, it's ready for download. Now, if you refresh the page or if you miss this notification for whatever reason, you can always go back to the files section, click from downloads here to uploads, and your report will always be available here. Just in case somebody else needs to pull it down, you need to look at it retroactively, it'll always be available for you. So if we'll go ahead and click it and open up this HTML page, we can see that we have Mythic. We have the first section being the operators that were assigned to the operation. Here we have Mythic admin was the lead, and Bob is just an operator. We get some kind of rough metrics of the operation overall. So we can see a list of the users we compromised, the hosts we compromised, what domains we accessed, how many total callbacks we had, how many were high integrity, and how many total tasks did we issue. From here, we start to see a breakdown of all the individual callbacks that we had. So here we have the first callback, a high integrity callback as root on this Kali box, the PID, the IP addresses, all this information that's normally available to you in that callbacks table, information about your callback. Below that is all the tasks that we actually issued on that callback in the operation. So you can see the start and end times. They get a little funky here in Firefox, but they're broken out more cleanly in Chrome. You can see what tasks you actually executed. We don't add in the output of the tasks, just the tasks themselves. And you can see here on the right-hand side, the individual specific attack mappings. So if we click any one of those, we get brought directly to that MITRE ATT&CK page that gives more information about what's going on. So we can scroll down and we have this for all those callbacks listed there. After all the MITRE ATT&CK stuff that we have up here, we have a section for that overview. So we can see this here, MITRE ATT&CK overview. This just kind of gives a breakdown of which techniques were executed, their name, and the count. So we can see here, we did 6 counts of Unix shell, 5 of file and directory discovery, so forth and so forth. The last thing down here is an artifacts overview. So it's up to the agent to report back various artifacts that they're creating, process creates, file writes, stuff like that. And here we can see we had 3 process create events reported back to us from our callbacks. This is an overview of just kind of which things and how many times. A full breakdown is available here in section 5.1, where it tells us process create on Kali. These are the specific processes that were created. So it's a handy way to get a bunch of insight into what's going on. If you need this as an actual PDF instead of as HTML, since it's just an HTML page in your browser, you can always just print to PDF and get things that way. But it's a nice way to get a summary of everything that's going on, including the operation report and the date that this was actually created. And again, it's always available here in the uploads section where you can pull it down or share it across the members of your operation or anything like that. So this was a very quick way to go ahead and look at what sort of operation reports we can generate, what data is stored in them, and how you can go about using them.